Hey everyone, welcome back to the Masters Challenge. This is Group B time, and we're going to be joined by UncleOwnage.
Hello. I'm excited to be here, and it's going to be fun casting again. And hopefully we won't have quite the same hiccups as last time. So,
Bringing more to the party than yeah. Alright, so our first matchup is, of course, Boxes and Tangs.
mm-hmm.
Did you happen to catch Tangs in the last tournament?
Not so much. No, it's been way too busy for that.
Too busy.
Yeah.
Is that
I
allowed?
watched some of it, but I hadn't gotten around to everything yet. But I did go to watch Group B or Group A rather for this one, and I think I'm excited to see what the next group brings in regards to different decks and different playstyles. Because we've been seeing a lot of Dragon Nest and a lot of Volco, but there's been some really interesting different types of decks mixed in, like Mortar and some APEP stuff. So I want to see more of that now that we're getting away from the players who were expected to play those decks, and seeing what these guys come up with.
Okay, so we got Boxes, our champion from the last King Puff Cup, going up against Tangs, the guy that kind of surprised everyone last tournament. He's like an esports manager or some stuff.
Yeah, something like that. I watched his stream the other day. I actually met him on the ladder as well. That was fun. So,
yeah, he managed to reach Grandmaster just before the deadline. So we'll see if he can make anything happen here in the tournament. That will be our first game at the 27-minute mark.
Yep, I am ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, here we go.
Masters, prepare to do
And right off the bat, we've got Milloween, which I find really exciting. Tangs has been experimenting with her for a long time on the ladder and stuff like that, which I think is really cool, despite her being discounted as one of the underpowered masters in the meta at the moment, which I probably have to agree with. But she's got potential.
I would say she's viable enough for just about any rank. It's that the very, very top is where she's weak, but we also saw Tangs take a match off of Rush in last tournament using his Milloween, so
yeah,
not the weakest, that's for sure.
Nope. And he's playing a last stand too, which I think is really good in this matchup, only because it can give him some control back when he's up against the Stormbringer and stuff like that.
Yeah, Stormbringer and Cleaver, it's going to do a lot of work against them. Normally, it's not a card that I personally enjoy on Milloween. I don't.
Oh, but you enjoy Legionnaires.
I do enjoy Legionnaires.
But yeah, I mean, depends on what some boxes is bringing here. He's as you mentioned in the previous group, or at least as people mentioned on the hype channel, Fireball isn't quite as meta at the moment, which means Legionnaires become much more powerful. And in this situation, you didn't see them answered until they got to the other side either.
Right, and they were just answered by a Defenso Chopper, which, had the heal arrive just a couple more milliseconds later, they might have actually killed it.
Pretty quick cycling here out of Tanks.
Yeah,
he's not in
last stand.
Yeah, exactly. And while he's not maintaining control, it's really hard to maintain control against a Stormbringer deck like this. What we're seeing out of some boxes seems to be...
Shockrock resetting the Cleaver, allowing him to attack a little bit faster than Tangs would have liked there. Which allows that Cleaver to actually survive.
But then again, throwing the Cleaver into that to take that much damage and not healing it up, I feel like that's a mistake on some boxes' side. I was expecting him to heal that up, but
apparently not.
Yeah.
Now we see this Arcane Golem coming out, but not really paired with any mana yet.
He's delaying with the black hole, which is okay.
Yeah, and he's really throwing everything he's got at that crossbow guild, but this golem might still end up dying before it even gets to the bridge. That Gax is definitely not going to help.
Oh, no.
Not the answer we were looking for. There's the healing fireball that would have turned it all around. Oh, well, maybe next time.
Yeah, okay, so he's looking... He doesn't want to drag it out too much, because some boxes is also going to benefit a lot from the perk 3, but I think Tings is in a better position.
Maybe not with a cleaver coming in right now, though.
Yeah, right now it's... Oh, this is bad.
That's actually going to get a lot of damage in. He's got to remove a lot from the board for the lightning bolt to pay off. Well, he sacrifices a puff there, throws out a shock rock to try and buy a little bit of time there. But Cleaver is going to hit the face again. That's going to drop Tanks down to 475 here. He gets the Arcane Golem out to try and add in a little bit more pressure here, but he's down to 475 now. But that push is finally answered. So maybe it's worth.
Yeah, he's throwing a lot of stuff at the crossbow guilds to get rid of those. It feels like he's very afraid of them, which I'm kind of doubting. Mostly because the Arcane Golem itself should be able to handle the crossbow guild trickle, as long as he doesn't allow it to build up.
Yeah, but, as long as he can get it to at what, 3s? Not. Yeah, 3 stacks. That's when it starts one-shotting the crossbow dudes, right?
Yeah. But right now it's stacking up, right? And well, he missed the shock rock just ever so slightly.
And now we have this next cleaver coming in, and there's not much to stop it here. Oh, well, he gets Legionnaires from a box there. That'll help a lot, but it's not going to be enough against all this range damage.
No. That's too bad. I think he was focusing a little too much on the crossbow guild. And while using the mana to empower his golem while he's taking down the health from there is good, it means he doesn't have that mana to answer the cleaver, which is probably the greatest threat to his Arcane Golem in the situation. So
hard call to make. The boxes just kept making him, just kept putting him in that same position over and over. So we'll have to see what he can possibly come up with at the 31-minute mark.
Yep, I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Oh, so they both switched.
They did indeed. Got a bit more of a face deck coming out of Tanks here.
Yeah, but Ratbow with a wall? That's unconventional.
Yeah, that's a little different to say the least, but I mean, I guess you get a lot of build-up going because of all those scrats you're spawning, right?
Yeah. But the thing is, I'm guessing the wall is there to avoid rush decks, but his own deck feels like it's very aggressive. Oh no.
Shock Rock not quite arriving in time there.
In this situation, the wall is fine, and then the scrap pack, I mean,
he paid 5 mana to answer 5 mana. So your call if you want to call it worse.
He's maintaining control of the bridges, right? Which is the important thing here. He's had the top bridge all the while, and the bottom one had been contested, which means he's getting ahead there. And if he can hit perk 2, he can take out the priority minions that we've been seeing out of some boxes. He was using Cleaver, he was using Succubus, and now a Rammer.
Yeah, last stand and a Rammer. That's going to be a lot of DPS coming in. 200.
But he's got the Beam of Doom. Like, wall, collect them, Beam of Doom, and then you're done. And while that's 9 mana, it's definitely less than his enemy invested. So that was a really good trade. And I think, coming back to the point I was getting at, was when he gets to Mordaka, he can take out the priority minions. Last stand is a bit of a problem for him, I can see here. But all the other minions will be much easier for him, especially with the Scrap Horde. So I think he's got a good timing there. Although some boxes He's playing some interesting.
Yeah, neither of them are really actually doing any damage to the other's face. It's part of the thing here.
I feel like some boxes wants to do damage to the face. Tanks too, for that matter. But they're both kind of playing a slightly defensive style of rush deck, which just doesn't make sense, right? But
Right.
it's kind of more balanced, I guess.
That was. I guess he wasn't in range of the face there to make that really worth it.
Yeah, same deal here. Wall,
Yeah.
Beam of Doom.
And that'll
Fantastic
be,
answer.
yeah. You spend 9 mana, but unfortunately,
The black hole.
oh yeah. Black Hole's going to completely turn all that around. Daka's going to go into a swarm here, and now we have this massive. What is that?
Oh my lord.
2. No, that's more, isn't it? 280
It's
DPS.
way too much DPS anyway.
Yeah, he needs another
and I
answer
don't
there, and
think-
he's not going to find it.
Nope.
And that's going to be that game. That's 2-0 to boxes there.
Really, really quick. And I think Teng's idea was good, but the issue here might have been that he allowed some boxes to spawn a cleaver, a last stand, and then waited way too long with the Beam of Doom.
Yeah, that wall was played
because-
a little too far back for my taste.
Yeah, exactly. If he had put it up front like he did the first time, he would have had that Beam of Doom timing. But there's just a short window where the enemy doesn't have mana for Black Hole in that situation, and he kind of missed it. And without a backup answer, I guess he's dead, clearly.
Yeah, and that's what we saw there. That last stand, 140 DPS, Cleaver and Rammer, they're both 60, and it's game real quick.
Mm.
You definitely won't have any time to recover mana, even if you're at full health, like we just saw there.
Yeah.
So that's going to give
So,
us
interesting strategies
Yeah.
out of things, but we know that some boxes is a pretty good player. And I would say, I mean, it's easy to say now that he was the favorite, but you mentioned it that Tangs just made GM. And I think he actually started playing this month, so he doesn't have the same experience like some boxes.
Right.
It was kind of expected that this was the outcome, but he did bring some interesting strategies to the table.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to bring us to our second matchup. That's Jake and Salbai.
Yeah.
I know Jake's been around the tournament scene for quite a while. Didn't quite make it to
but
the
on and off,
KPI,
right?
but
Mm-hmm.
he's had an impact in the cups at the very least. And then Salbai, we all know.
Saba is the really active streamer, the morning streamer, you might call him. At least that's what he is for us.
Yeah, he's very early for me. That's
yeah.
for sure.
But yeah, he's been grinding out games a lot, and he's got a really good game sense. But he does have a tendency to get tilted. So what you want to watch out for is whether or not he wins the first game against Jake, because I think that determines a lot how his mindset goes, which is something we've brought up in earlier tournaments, like how the mindset is when you lose the first game. But from watching Salve on stream, I think it's a bigger issue for him. We can't say yet.
He's quite the emotional player, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
So our first match, or our first game, is going to be at the 25-minute mark.
Yes, I am ready.
Okay, and 3, 2, 1, here we go.
Miros Tetsu.
Yeah, got Sergeant on the left, got the normal on the right.
So we saw that earlier in Group A. A lot of Miro Setsu, most of it Dragon Nest, like a Dragon Nest control-y style thing. The alternative is that Jake is playing... Salve is playing Dragon Nest. Maybe Jake is playing a Palace style aggressive... Ooh.
Lightning Bolt for an illusory.
Yeah, that's really cool. Great bluff there, because you would expect the big cleaver to come out of a Setsu deck. If it was Palace style, it was rushy. So it's a great move to play the Lightning Bolt there, but then it's an illusory cleaver and a Dragon Nest deck. Alright, so
Yep, Dragon Nest. Here comes the Blind Date. Blind Date gives, of course, the Living Statue. Probably the best card you can get. for a nest
Yeah,
deck.
so we saw that in Rush against Shady, that Shady really had some good blind dates, especially with the living statue. And people are wondering if it's actually RNG. I guess I could check the numbers, but I'm pretty certain that...
Well, we're going to have Setsu come in here to
the
try and
problem.
save that statue, but it's just going to be too late. As 4 dragons, 200 DPS, it's not going to be enough. And now we have all these dragons coming across the field here. There's 5 of them up. There's 4 legionnaires. There's a rampage warrior here. And all Southby's got here was 1 dragon. Now that's gone as well. His crossbow dudes are just going to be absolutely overrun. And now Setsu's all alone here against this army of health.
But it's probably an illusory cleaver, though. Yeah.
And that's what it looked like, yep. But that's
So,
still
at
a
least
lot of
he's
damage
got
there
that
with the
going.
Whelp, the Warrior, a Legionary, and Setsu. It's still going... I mean, look at it. He's just melting
Wow.
here. 2,000, and that's going to be the game.
Yeah, wow. So we saw actually the 2 different styles here, the same as when Shady was playing against Rush. We had the one blind date Dragoness style, we had against the Raging Reinforcement style. It was the other way with Shady versus Rush, where Shady won with the blind date style. And here we're seeing the Raging Reinforcements winning. There's a lot of timing based encounters when you see this matchup. But I also noticed that the Warrior here did a lot of work
Oh, yeah.
for Jake.
Being
He
able
got
to
this
tank up
Rage
2
Warrior,
full
which
reloads.
could, yeah, exactly. It could tank a full Setsu while it's dealing 70 DPS, which is massive. So when you're on the attack, the Raging Warrior is really, really good. Where in Group A, for Rush, the Raging Warrior was really terrible when he was on the back foot.
So that's going to bring us to our game 2. We're going to see if Salbai can bring this back at the 33-minute mark.
Yep, I'm ready.
And 3, 2, 1, here we go.
It's Minion Master time!
Both changed it up.
Yeah, really good switch up.
Ooh,
So we talked about the
Demon
whole...
Warrior.
Wow, this is going to be a longer game then. Which is reminiscent of some of the earlier tournaments and the 2v2. But it's a good switch up from Group A, where a lot of the matches were really, really quick, like the previous one. But I think it's a good idea for Salbei to switch it up here. If we're talking about the potential to get tilted, staying with the same deck can really make you behave weirdly, right? Because you want to make that work, and then you're making great decisions and all that. Switching it up will probably help. He's got an interesting mix here with turrets and...
Yeah, it looks like a very defensive deck. I suppose that's one way to make the Demon Warrior work. Golem going to find the Ghost Turret here. I remember hearing something about a Call to Arms Demon Warrior, but this doesn't look like it.
I guess with cheap buildings and Call to Arms, you can cycle for the Demon Warrior while maintaining pressure. But yeah, with the laser turret, the cycle is definitely slowed down. I guess it's a good answer against big units.
Yeah, we'll see the Shock Rocket allow that Elite Swarmer to get a couple more hits in on that succubus than he normally would. We're going to see Mana Puff take the bridge atop as Annihilator and Elite Swarmer are going to start dealing damage to Salbai's face here. We're going to get actually getting quite a bit.
Really... Yeah, it's a little too much damage, I would say. But at the same time, he kind of wants to sacrifice damage for maintaining control, I feel. While he doesn't... Against a Mortar deck, it's probably not rushy. And from what we've seen out of Jake, it's definitely not a rush deck. So he's fine with sacrificing some health. As long as he doesn't allow the blue golem to reach him, he's okay with letting him push in.
Yeah,
But
thanks to the Ghost Turret, he's going to find all the time in the world.
Yeah, having both Ghost Turret and Laser Turret, it really makes it hard for Jake to push through with a blue golem.
Yep, and the scrap packs will actually eat up enough attacks here for it to really matter. That laser turret will still be around by the time the blue golem gets there again.
Yeah, unless he has a spell.
Yeah. Unless he can
And I
find
don't
some
think
way
it
to tick
actually
on it.
it won't manage to kill it this time.
No, but yeah, it will get a couple hits in, but Demon Warrior will be ready this time around, and now she actually kind of hurts.
Starting
160
to get
damage
up
to
there.
swing.
Yeah, and some of Salve's pushes are getting through too against Jake.
Yeah, he
So
did
it's
manage to
really
do
good.
360 damage on the back. But now
And
Cleaver
Blue
manages
Golem.
to get to the face.
Yeah. Little late on a snake totem, but he didn't have the level, so that's okay.
Laser turret
but-
actually getting hit by the Annihilator there.
Oh, that's not great placement.
I
And again-
didn't know where you could do that.
Yeah, that seems to... Yeah. In any case, I would have wanted the laser turret up front, because then it would start dealing damage to the blue golems.
Right. It definitely wouldn't have been getting hit by the Annihilator in any case.
Yeah. I mean, if it hadn't died to the Annihilator, it would have been pretty good in this situation. So, fair enough. He probably didn't know about that interaction. But he's cycling really well. One of the strengths of a Demon Warrior deck is that it cycles really well because it's supposed to cycle.
Right.
And that means you can probably add one or two other cards that you want to cycle to. In this case, the laser turret.
Yeah, and it's always up, and even with all these reses going to such great minions like the Blue Golem and Cleaver, Laser Turret just keeps reappearing, and it's giving Zalbai the advantage here.
Mm-hmm. He's
Now we
really
have
far behind
Frenzy
on XP,
available, though. Yeah, Frenzy's now available for Jake here, with Zalbai still, 40 EXP behind.
Yeah, I think while you normally want the Blue Golem on the breast and the Cleaver, or the Cleaver with Frenzy would be amazing, but the Blue Golem with Frenzy wouldn't be that great. I think he wants a Succubus or a Cleaver in this situation. So the Blue Golem actually isn't the best rest he can get.
And that's mostly due to that Laser Turret, just being able to get to it.
Definitely.
I'd say Succubus being the ideal res, and that's exactly what he got there. We'll see what she can actually manage to do here. Ghost Turret 67 DPS, though, going to clean her up, no problem.
Yeah, I really like the double turret combo on this defensive Demon Warrior style deck. It's a really cool deck.
That Frenzy Golem there actually got a couple hits in on face. But now we have a Demon Warrior in both lanes.
And she's getting scary. Really scary.
8 stacks, that's 1600 health.
Even if she doesn't get to hit, because that was a large part of the rework, was that it's harder for her to hit things.
Just look at her, she just two-shot a Cleaver.
Yeah. But she also has so much health that he can push behind it, and it's getting harder and harder for Jake to maintain bridges. So while he's really far ahead in XP, Salve can now take full control of the bridges for the rest of the game. I don't really see Jake taking the bridges at this point.
Yeah, because he really needs a distraction for those Demon Warriors now, because they're now going to be at their strongest 2,000 health and 400 damage. A Golem isn't going to last very long against that.
No. Flightless Dragons from the APIP third perk. Pretty good value behind a Demon Warrior that can tank.
Yeah,
if
and
he uses it well.
And the even scarier thing here is that Salbai's running Puffs.
Yeah, so he can heal up with that heal puff.
He has the healing puff, he has the mana puffs, he has these giant Demon Warriors that are going to hold the lane forever while he just keeps getting the mana back. And as we're seeing, Jake is just absolutely melting here, and there's not going to be anything he can do as Salbai's going to take it with a 10-stack Demon Warrior on the face.
Yeah. That's really interesting, because Jake's deck probably relies on the Blue Golem to handle big minions, because that's what it usually can do. Especially when you can resurrect it, then you're fine with the Blue Golem dying while dealing 400, 600 damage and then resurrecting itself. But in the face of a Demon Warrior, the balance changes, especially with the laser turret backup around the bridges in this situation.
So that's going to bring us to our game 3, and that is at the 40-minute mark, and we're going to see just who can take this final game.
Yeah, I'm ready.
In 3, 2, 1, here we go! And once again, we got changing decks. Got a Repo.
So I think Salve doesn't want to run into a counter deck in this situation, so he wants to change it up.
Right.
I would assume that's usually the reason for changing your deck when you're winning. Probably the same for Jake before.
Right. You just don't want to risk getting hard countered by your opponent, so. Good news is it looks like Salbai had 3 different decks prepared for this, so we're gonna see what it can do. It looks pretty scrap-filled to me.
Yeah, it's I would say standard Radbo spam, but with a defensive chopper added in the case of looking at the Dragon's Nest, which is exactly what he's reading now.
And I mean, really, it looks like the Volko spam with a bit more scrap pack and a bit less illusory cleaver.
Mm-hmm.
And played on the Ratbow, of course.
Yeah, but that makes a big difference, right? Because if you don't put in enough anti-air in this deck, you run the risk of losing to the Dragon's Nest very easily.
Right. And
I guess with Ratbow, your first perk doesn't even help. While he can defend himself more easily, he can't defend himself against a 5 dragon push. So what you need is something like the Volko Firebolts.
Well, the interesting thing about the Scrat and Dragon interaction is that the Scrats will actually kite the Dragons indefinitely as long as they don't reach melee range.
Yeah, that's true. So it pulls them back and around and around.
Right.
And then when you stack them up, you can use some kind of AoE to kill it. But Salbei isn't running any AoE spells. He's running
really only got the
Cleaver
illusory.
and Reboomer. And Reboomer is terrible in this situation. Like, it's pretty much useless.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
rather
sure why he's spending mana on it.
I mean, anytime that it actually does manage to get the face, it'll have a big impact, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen here.
But when will it get to face against the Setsu, right? I mean, only if she's in the situation where she has to reload or something. And then she just kills it, so that's 250 damage for 3 mana. And that's 1% of the time. The other 99% is going to get killed by a dragon.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part here. Any dragon will answer that Reboomer, but if it ever gets there, it's going to do absolutely huge impact here. And honestly, it's Jake that's on the back foot here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been so busy talking that I didn't even notice, I guess. I think the Ratbow style deck puts a lot of pressure on them, not just for this because of the Scrats, but because he's playing constantly a bunch of cards. Jake hasn't really found a moment where he can stack up the Dragon Nests and then build that 5 dragon push. So while I was mentioning that the Illusory Cleaver or rather Ratbow's basic attack wouldn't help against these big dragon pushes, it's only 1 or 2 dragons getting through at a time, which he can handle just fine.
And this is one of those things that I keep talking about and on the Discord and whatnot is the whole deal of Colossus counters Dragon Nest deck. It's not because Colossus can hit the dragons, it's because of the pressure on the board that he brings.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Pressure on the board is countering the Dragon's Nest deck for the most part here. But Salbai has not managed to find the face in quite a while here.
Yeah.
And that maybe it was because of blind dates, or maybe it was just because Jake wasn't as ready for all these Scrats at first.
I feel like Salbai is stacking up mana, which is probably the wrong move because now he's allowing Jake to stack up mana. And that produces 2 Dragon Nests, which he can't handle.
We'll see a Daka take care of 1 dragon, but unfortunately it doesn't get the raged one, and that could potentially prove a problem later. And we see all these Scrats actually allowing the Whelps to stack up here. We're going to see a Defenso get dropped down here. That'll actually answer that raged Whelp from before, but we still have 2 more coming in while Setsu tanks.
But now there's so many rats that the dragons won't ever get to face. Oh, there they are. But the Scrats actually do a good job of slowing down the dragons here.
Yeah, but now here comes the real big problem here. Jake is about to get his perk 3, and Piercing Shot is going to do a lot of damage here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can just jump Setsu right on Ratbow's face, and whatever Salbai drops is just gonna die.
That's going to be a beam to clean up the Defenso. I'd say Jake's had about enough of it.
But it's a good move because he doesn't want to be pressured here, and he wants the dragons to stack up so that he can jump now with perk 3.
Right, and there's another nest. There's that high-powered laser. there goes Cleaver because of it. That's going to be a
Yeah.
succubus coming out of a blind date there. That is
Oh,
very
this is the
nice.
time. This is the one he's looking for.
Yeah.
If he jumps with this, because he should have it in hand now, he would have an opportunity to end the game.
Oh yeah, and he
he needs to
just
be
answered
careful
that
not to-
final Cleaver.
Mm-hmm.
He's got all the space he needs now. Here's the piercing shot. There's another one that's going to stop the DACA from happening. Another one that's going to keep the stun going and the beam, and that's going to actually turn the game and go Jake's way.
Wow. That was like Salve had really good timing on the plays there. He did the Scrat Horde at exactly the timing he should have, which is just after Setsu fires the first high-powered laser. But unfortunately, with the Dragoness deck, Jake has spells, so he can just reload it instantly, get rid of the Scrat Horde. Then in comes the dragons, and with the Beam of Doom, that's just way too much damage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unfortunately, that late game mana regen really now that it's back, it's really showing how much of a difference it can make for some of the masters like Setsu, who become so much more dangerous around their perk 3.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna give us some boxes and Jake in the finals for the upper half of Group B. But we're going to go down to the bottom half here, where we're going to see Zgripter up against Break Time.
Yep.
Zgripter being one of our streamers. I haven't actually caught any of his, though. Have you?
No, I haven't watched his stream much. I think it's outside of work hours too, so it's hard to catch.
Yeah, I think he's a later in my night. You might actually be asleep when he streams. Now that I think about it.
Probably.
So,
but he's been very active lately, and I think it's exciting to see what he's been doing. I don't know much about Break Time.
I ran into Break Time quite a bit on the ladder this season.
Yeah, is he any
he's
good?
He's a grandmaster. So are a lot of other people right now. But that's great. He might surprise us. Honestly, he did when I was running into him. He did run quite a few different decks. So he might have just been experimenting when I ran into him, and that could be the big thing. Is I didn't see him at his best, and we're going to see just what might be his best at the 32-minute mark.
Yep. I'm ready.
That'll be 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
So we start out with him on Mortar, which I always find exciting. And we've seen it a bunch before in this tournament. But Zgripter on the Ravager, which failed miserably in Group A, and hopefully brings back the game here.
Yeah, but if there's one thing we know about Zgripter, it's that his Ravager is what made a big impact in the last tournament. He might not have taken it all, but he did get to 3rd place with it. So we'll see if it has that same impact in this tournament. Have all these nice tanky minions, they're going to find a Colossus here, and the Lightning Bolt's going to go to the defensive, so that's going to be the end of this push by Zgripter.
Well, it's still going to keep the Colossus occupied. It's going to deal a little bit of damage. And I feel like the Lightning Bolt play was the right one to make. It's only a good outcome for him, and hitting the Colossus would have been amazing. Now he kind of wants to support the Brutus, but he also has to defend. This is a little bit of an awkward position.
It looks like Brutus is pretty much just going to die without much impact here. Meanwhile, Colossus is going to start walking into Zgripter's side here, looking to do massive amounts of damage.
Yeah. What Brutus is providing him here is taking the top bridge until... Yeah, and there it is.
And he Dagger Falls to make the Tombstone res a Plasma Marine instead of saving his Drone Walker, which, honestly, probably the right call. Might have been able to do it in a different order, though.
He might have wanted the living statue to kite the Colossus. One of the things you want to do with that is put the living statue behind the Colossus so that it never catches up, and then it walks all the way back.
I think that definitely would have been my choice. But I'm not Zgrifter.
Yeah. He's losing a lot of health here, and he's also behind on XP. He's very much under pressure.
Yeah, but now we have a very healthy living statue on the face of Mordar, and the lightning bolt was ready this time for that Colossus, and now Break Time is in a lot of trouble here. He has to find a way to answer this living statue that's now frenzied. That's going to be pumping out nearly 50 DPS here, and that may be the game. Got the frenzied elite swarmer. Yeah, the beam is ready, and there it is.
There you go.
That's going to be the first game going to Zgrifter.
So that was great timing. Like, he was sacrificing a lot for building up a different push. And I guess we argued that he should have used the living statue to distract the Colossus. He could have done that at the same time as building up the push, but in this way, it was safe. There was no risk of the living statue being held up and thus being taken up by the Colossus. And this building of the push to hit the timing where he gets the level 2, gets the frenzy, creates this massive pressure on the other side of the board just after he very efficiently took down the push that the Break Time had made.
Yeah, you see that using your health as a resource here. I mean, at the time it looked pretty bad, but honestly, all he needs is one good push. So we'll
That's
see.
That's especially true for Ravager.
Yes, that frenzy makes such a big deal, and honestly, when you've got a Ravager deck, you're generally looking for one good push. Hence, the Brutus. It just didn't have an impact this game.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on a lot of things whether you can get anything out of the first perk and the third one. But it feels like all three are timings that you want to hit, especially given his basic attack. That's kind of situational.
I mean, it's pretty good. It just can't reach anything. So that's gonna bring us to game 2 at the 37-minute mark.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And 3, 2, 1, here we go.
All right. So Break Time.
Looks like Zgrifter's using the same deck, but Break Time switched to APAP here.
Yeah, exactly. He decides to switch it up. It wasn't that successful. Zgrifter decides to stick because I think he's most comfortable with this deck. It seems. Oh.
Yeah, from what we saw in the last tournament, unless he gets absolutely shut down, he likes to stick with this deck.
I mean, even if he would have lost the previous one, it wouldn't have been a shutdown.
Right.
So I guess it's a good bet that he would have stayed with this. I don't know if Break Time is aware of this. Part of performing. Wow.
That will definitely answer that living statue.
To arms or something.
I think he might have done that just to answer this specific deck. It may not be called. Oh, but well.
There
okay.
You go.
It's a call to arms.
Yeah. So that's pretty interesting because it's a defensive style of deck he's running with APEP, and that's pretty good against this kind of timing push thing because you can reliably answer what they're building up, and you're not relying on doing a big push, so you're not investing mana in attacking, which means you always have the option to defend.
So that's going to be the next push coming in from Zgrifter here. He had the lightning bolt ready, but I guess it doesn't matter this time with a Beam of Doom cleaning up the most of the living statue's health. Lightning bolt's going to answer the crossbow guild though.
Again.
Yes.
That 2 mana advantage just straight off the bat. Actually, on the first one, I expected him to use the Beam of Doom to deal some face damage, but I think he wants the mana advantage to build up that big push, because that's more effective than getting any face damage.
Right. Especially in this situation where he might need that beam for the next time Laser Turret and Wall make their appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's the beam now.
A little late on it, I think he was indecisive because you're like, do I want to use it on an Annihilator? But I think he should have done it immediately or not at all. But I mean, he's in a good position here. Zigripta. It's fantastic for him.
Yeah, he's going to be able to build up a very large push here. That's going to be the easy 250 damage thanks to Xiaolong being dropped at the absolute last moment before the call to arms got played. Which makes him worthwhile in this case. There's going to be that laser turret wall again.
I'm not sure if Break Time is saving his Snake Totem for something special. Because he just fired Call to Arms without a Snake Totem. Which would have been... Like, unless you're expecting to get really pressured and pushed down. Which is happening now, I guess.
Yeah, it's what's happening right now, but at the same time... Yeah, exactly.
Does he know that he has Snake Totem?
I would hope so. Well, he's finally going to get that crossbow guild down now, and there's no lightning bolt for it, but there is a beam for it. Still no snake totem.
Yeah, and I mean, now Zigripta really likes the face damage, because now it's just 40% of his health, the break time health. And that brings the threat of the push even more to the table. Great
now
wall,
you have the laser turret
defensive
wall.
style.
Might find an opening here. There's the totem. Here's the call to arms. That allows him to do it without taking any damage from that Xiaolong.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If he has the snake totem, he avoids the feedback damage. Punish damage, rather. But that's kind of an incidental move, rather than something.
Yeah, and that's just going to cause a beam to hit the face now and that's going to leave break time at 45 health. That's just a dagger fall away, which is right there. GG! That'll be the end of break time, and we'll see Zigripta advance to the finals of Group B.
Really well played by Zigripta. It's a really scary deck that he plays. If you allow him to play the way he wants, you run the risk of getting just dominated. And I don't think break time brought the pressure to disallow that playstyle.
Yeah, unfortunately, with the beams and the lightning bolts, all his buildings were kept down, so he couldn't even get a proper call to arms off, and that's what really made that game go so far Zigripta's way.
Yeah, the crossbow guild, like if you try to imagine these games, or this game, where crossbow guild doesn't get instantly lightning bolted, I guess you have this build-up of crossbow dudes that then have the warrior tanks in front, which should be a pretty effective combo. But then again, I don't think against Zigripta's deck that it would matter much, because he would just have the drone walker and the plasma marines behind, which would take out everything while the living statue is tanking. And then what you achieve as break time is you halt the push at the bridges, or probably you lose the bridges still, and that doesn't really accomplish much.
Right.
So
hard matchup to win at the very least. So that's going to bring us to our final match of round 1, which is Vango and Remedy.
Yes, indeed.
Vango being one of our top 10 players, I think he is.
Yeah, and he plays a ton, and he's really active, especially on Salbase Stream. They play together.
And Remedy has been around for, God, ever. I think I saw him all the way back in December. So he's got plenty of experience too, even if he's not the most active on the ladder lately. So that.
No, I don't know his playstyle much, so I'm excited to see what he brings.
Yep, and that'll be at the 30-minute mark for game 1.
Yep, I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, here we go.
Storm Ranger against the Rat Bow.
You guys and your silly namings.
Yeah, well, we had to call it something, right? So this is probably a control style deck out of Remedy. And Vango is playing a Living Statue Reptile back from the ESO top days.
So we'll see if it can find its way to the face at all against the control deck.
I would expect so, because while the control deck maintains control of the bridges, the Living Statue has so much health. And if he has the right backup, I think he can do pretty well.
Right.
Don't think he has the right backup though. So
a Snake Druid that will hold off that Living Statue forever if it ever gets played.
Yeah, but with this cycling and the Plasma Marines, the Snake Druid isn't going to have an impact. I think it's there to avoid rushes.
Well, the good news is in this particular matchup, that Snake Druid may potentially have a lot of impact because of marksmanship. It will actually give him the opportunity to beat a Plasma Marine.
That's true. So you can still use it without that loss. That's a good point. And eventually, the Plasma Marines won't get gangbanged like they just did.
Right. We'll see that Reboomer. It will respawn again, and that'll take care of the Living Statue.
Having that Reboomer live off of the push, kind of unexpected, I'd say, but that's a really good value because it means Vango, who just uses Plasma Marines to push, can't really answer it effectively. He has to do a double drop. He uses Illusory to delay it. He's looking for the propeller scratch, I guess. But the Plasma Marine's there.
And Reboomer doesn't quite hit face there, thanks to that scrat distracting it.
Yeah, the constant pressure out of Vango. He takes the bridges. He has rats spawning. Nothing ever really gets to face. And then he does this massive push off of the Living Statue.
Daka will arrive in time to actually answer the Reboomer.
And there's the Snake Druid you talked about. Like, really effective use where when the Living Statue is alone, the Snake Druid completely negates him.
Yeah, even if he wasn't alone, right there where he just was, really makes it difficult to answer.
Yeah, with the Ghost Turret back up and just Stormbringer shooting everything down, it's...
And right like that, we see the Snake Druid answer both the big units of Vango.
And then Vango throws the Living Statue top. I think that's a massive mistake on his side. He throws it right into a Snake Druid and potentially the Ghost Turret, which we're seeing here. Putting it at the bottom would have been much more effective.
I think he was hoping to just use it for tank and have all that range get up there, but Ghost Turret and Reboomer answered everything he threw down behind it.
I guess the Reboomer played a large part as well, but the Ghost Turret just... The Living Statue doesn't tank much when the Ghost Turret is on the board, so you need to watch out for that when the opponent is playing a control style like this.
I'd say right there, that one Snake Druid play probably took 21-ish mana by himself.
Yeah, I certainly stand corrected on it having it. It's really effective. What I'm looking for here is Vango using Daka to take out the turrets. He really wants that, and since the turrets are always in front, he has the opportunity for that, but he needs to take care of all the minions that Remedy is throwing down on the bridges.
Right. And that's
so
what's really causing a problem here. And there's that Snake Druid yet again, holding off the Defenso Chopper, buying all the time in the world for the Ghost Turret to clean up everything.
Yeah, so now Remedy is catching up in XP.
Yep.
After the massive pressure that Vango is putting out. They're even on health, and it could go anyone's way right now. But I'm seeing Remedy learning the matchup, right? And I'm not seeing that out of Vango.
I mean, he's really struggling to get everything to go his way right now. He's playing. I think what's happening here is he's playing too much at the bridges. Ooh, that Deka falling down to a Plasma Marine at the bottom.
Almost.
I think he's playing too far up on his battlefield. He needs to back up a little bit to just build up a slightly larger push, and I think that's all he really needs to do here.
Yeah, I mean, Okay, so there's one thing. If he builds up a large push, the Reboomer comes in and kills everything. Because he doesn't have a spell to take out the Reboomer.
But he does have Plasma Marines.
Yeah.
And they will take care of it as long as that Defensor doesn't give it away.
Yeah. It does feel like the Daka isn't really providing him much value. Had he been a little more patient here, would have gotten the Defensor Chopper, which would have helped a lot at the bottom now.
And I think that's a lot of this, is the Daka not finding a good target at any point in this match. The good news is he's still managing to stay mostly even on EXP here, but we finally see Remedi reach the face and do quite a bit of damage there.
Yeah, Bango is starting to bleed. And still, like, he placed the living statue at the top, out of the way of the Snake Druid, which is the right move, but the Ghost Charge still takes it out if he doesn't have anything to aid it in that sense. And now he has a lot of mana, but no answer.
And since this is all taking place on Bango's side, Stormbringer having a big impact here. He's going to use the living statue to try and make those shots stop affecting his side so much, but he's still he's still not going to get there because of that ghost turret. The extra 2 range is just going to answer the living statue all by itself.
Yeah, I mean, he had a large push, but the Defensor Chopper just takes care of that entirely. It's definitely a really good unit in this matchup.
Yeah, and with it answering all those scrats, combined with the Reboomer, he just can't get any damage on the board. And now we're looking at...
he can't play Daka now either.
Right, because of that Xiaolong, it'll just kill him. So then he's absolutely desperate to get anything on the board, but Remedi's just going to overpower anything he can put down.
Pretty well played though by Remedi, biding his time, not trying to overcommit. In the beginning, being really on the back foot, but then taking it over as you get the Stormbringer range and you get the range on the units, the marksmanship. That was really impactful for the mid game.
So that's going to bring us to game 2, where we find out if Vango can find the answer to Remedi, and that's the 39-minute mark.
Yep. Ready?
3, 2, 1, here we go.
Okay. So Vango decides to go with Stormbringer.
I stand for rightness.
And Remedi on the Setsu. Let's see if it's the Dragon Nest that we've seen before. But Vango seems to be playing the control style that we just saw.
Yeah, he decided that looked pretty good. I should try that.
But he doesn't have the Storm Ranger skin, so how's it gonna work?
I know, right? How can you like choose a character and then like not amp it up?
It's a little more aggressive though, with the warrior to tank as like a semi-pushy thing.
Got another call to arms deck.
Set to call to arms. This is getting interesting. This is what we love.
Definitely playing something different here. There's a lot of not building cards in this deck too. Not many spells either, so I have to wonder a bit at the thought process for this deck.
Or he's sitting with the buildings on his hand and not playing them. Just he doesn't feel this.
I've seen like 7 minions come out of him.
Yeah. So it's wall, turret.
Yeah, I think
call to arms.
Yeah, wall, turret, call to arms, fireball, and everything else is minions.
Yeah, that's a strange combination. And I don't think... I feel like he'll be on the back foot with Vango taking control, because that's exactly what the game is supposed to do, or the deck is supposed to do.
Right.
And that won't... He's not really okay with that, because that's what Vango wants, right? And against a deck where he could defend a rammer, a cleave, or whatever with the turret, and then switch it around, that would work. But in this situation, oh, ouch.
Cleaver perfectly played the answer Setsu.
Hmm.
Now we have these warriors coming in. They're going to fight with this ghost turret and another warrior. Which ultimately, that means the ghost turret wins.
Yes, the swarm is down to the cleaver. That's pretty good. The ghost turret should help him here. But he doesn't really get much out of the call to arms.
And with that ghost turret dying before you can call to arms again, that's what's really going to prove a problem here. Though I'm starting to see how his deck is supposed to work. It looks like he just wants to cycle really quickly.
But cycle for what?
I mean, it kind of looks like he just wants the constant pressure. Like, the way it looks like is if Remedy ever gets a leg up on this fight, Vango will struggle greatly to ever come back into it. Especially the later in the game.
Finding that leg up. Like, Vango is losing a little health. I guess Remedy does have more health, XP. So, he's pulling ahead.
Yeah, I mean, as long as this crossbow guild and cleaver get answered, I think Remedy's gonna start chipping him down slowly but surely. Oh, Plasma Marines played a split second too early, but they're actually all going to survive.
Good fireball.
Yeah, that fireball really turning that fight there, and this ghost turret's gonna clean up the other warrior. Unfortunately, that marksmanship's really going to start paying off now.
Yeah. Is making an impact here as well. And it's exactly what the control style does for Stormbringer. In the beginning, he's going to struggle. He's afraid to die in the early game, which is why he runs things to be defensive. And then when he gets the marksmanship, he can take full control of the board.
Ooh, that cleaver not having to hit a second time. That's really unfortunate. Setsu's back with her high-powered laser. She's going to start doing some work here, and that ghost turret just barely survives long enough to spawn a warrior, but that warrior is not going to get very far either.
Yeah, you see the ghost turret with the 10 range just shooting across the gap like there's no tomorrow. Just taking out Setsu, warrior, whatever's coming.
Yep. And that's really a problem here, as now Remedy's the one that's struggling to find any kind of a foothold in this matchup.
He's still ahead in XP, but Vango just got the third perk, and Remedy didn't really get to use that high-powered laser for anything good.
Yeah, the only thing he's really done with it is stun the cleaver once.
Yeah.
Well, Wall and Ghost Turret's going to try and find some value here.
If he hits the Ghost Turret here...
Setsu will go all the way. Takes care of that crossbow guild. This may be the opening that Remedy needs to do something.
Did he just play Call to Arms just a tad too early? Because Setsu didn't find two high-powered lasers there.
Oh, that definitely, yes. He used it because he needed to.
That's really bad for him.
If he wanted the second warrior, I think he had to do it there.
That's true. But then you kind of... That's where maybe the deck is a little too split in what it wants to do. It wants to empower Setsu, and at the same time, it wants the warrior pressure.
And this is what I meant earlier by if Remedy is the one in control of the match, then he's very hard to come back from and push back into. But if he can't ever find that foothold to begin with, we get this. That is a second
he still has the
crossbow
potential though. I mean, if he manages to do a good push on Mana Frenzy, or just a good push with the Setsu, where he hits the timing, he might actually get ahead. But the cleaver is going to be a continuous problem for him with the Setsu.
Especially if he can't find a reason to save a spell just for that high-powered laser to try and buy a little bit of extra time against that cleaver. There's going to be that call to arms coming out to fire another high-powered laser shot. But all these crossbow guilds, they just keep coming.
And he misses the blast entry just slightly.
Yeah, unfortunately, he needed to let Setsu shoot one more time there before throwing off that fireball to hit the crossbow guild. That would have allowed him to clear up the top lane at the same time.
The Scrat Horde is doing pretty well for him though.
Yeah,
while the crossbow guild and the blast marines are definitely gonna take it out, it stalls the cleaver every time. The cleaver never reaches face.
Yep.
There's
Now we see
Frenzy.
Mana Frenzy for Vango here with Remedi still 15 EXP to go here. And
Sit.
she was reloading apparently.
Yeah, I was just what? And he's got things on his face and no one to defend it.
Yeah, and he throws the
Yes.
fireball bottom. I'm not sure I agree with that. But
I think he wanted to get the Setsu on the bridge to stall the Mana Frenzy. Because right now his biggest enemy is letting Vango keep spawning the minions.
he goes face
goes
with
face.
his piercing shot. But he doesn't, again, he doesn't have much at his face. He does get that crossbow guild though. Maybe that's worthwhile as he's still 5 EXP away from his own Mana Frenzy, still managing to hold out this game here.
He's doing a good job here, and Vango is, I mean, getting chipped, but you want to chip him in Mana Frenzy.
Yeah, unfortunately, Setsu's not going to go to the top side of that crossbow guild, but she's going to answer it anyway. Cleaver
Two
about to
cleavers.
hit face, but all these Plasma Marines are on face already. The wall not going to help with that, and that's going to cause the game to go to Vango.
Yeah, I think Remedi overestimated the power of the guild there in Mana Frenzy. It's not the spawning of the guild that's killing you, it's the fact that he can keep making guilds. So you need to use the Setsu to regain control of the bridges.
Really needed. I mean, it's a hard choice to make because
Especially
you're going
in
to
the
constantly
moment,
keep
right?
taking the bridges, but at the same time, like you want to answer the guild, but you also want the bridge, and the guild's taking the bridge, and it's just
Yeah, and I mean, the problem was also every time he used the Setsu on the bridge, there was a ghost turret to kill his Setsu, and then Vango took back the bridge with no contest. I think the issue though is that when he keeps jumping into enemy territory, the cleaver is going to kill him every time, and that just means he gets one high-powered laser off and kills a guild, and that's it. But he still hasn't put any pressure on Vango.
right. He's just lessened the pressure on himself. So we'll find out what this third match looks like at the 52-minute mark.
Yep, I'm ready.
And 3, 2, 1, here we go. Mordar.
He switches it up. Yeah. Vango sticks with what he had.
Yeah, that's what it looks like so far. I think. Did he run 3 sets of Plasma Marines in that deck?
Mortar Spirit Vessel. What's he looking to buff here?
Xiaolong.
Apparently. Which is pretty good because, I mean, the Plasma Marines won't even enter it now. Or,
They'll perfectly counter each other.
yeah.
Oh,
but he has to-
the Swarmers went
Oh
top.
no, the misplacement. 2 wasted mana. And this could, like, it sounds like so little, but it's so massive in this situation that you don't take the bottom bridge because it allows Remedi to start stacking up mana now. He spent 3 mana, he's in full control, stacks up everything.
And
I'm
we
betting
have a
he's gonna
sniper
throw down.
strat. Undying.
I'm
being
waiting-
dropped bottom.
I'm waiting for the for the big minion out of Remedi. I don't think it's just Undying the skeleton pressure. And he had a great timing here with the tombstone, but for some reason he's not playing that. I guess it's just pressure.
That's what it looks like. It looks like he's going to take a bunch of cheap minions, and mostly in the spirit vessels, and just keep throwing the spirits around.
Yeah.
Using the
If
tombstones.
the spirit vessels keep resting, he'll get a super buffed up Xiaolong that Vango can't enter with a spell, but Vango doesn't want to enter with a spell. He's Stormbringer.
But you have this Xiaolong sitting on the face here. Not much in the way of DPS, but you know what? Doesn't need to be.
Well, he
Not
just
when it
needs to
gets to
chip.
sit there for a full minute.
I like the sniper scratch here. The sniper scratch with 1 spirit vessel buff is pretty safe.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the sniper squad normally would be really bad against the Stormbringer because every time there's not a tank in front, it just dies. But with one spirit buff, it'll have a lot more staying power.
Right. Now we have this cleaver coming in, and it'll get the Undying res there for charging towards the face here, but he's going to find a sniper scrap before then. And here's
he
an
pushes
Undying
the sniper squad in the way of the cleaver with a tombstone. That's tyrannical.
Well, he's going to get a free Undying out of this at the very least.
Yeah,
As
I mean,
another Undying reses on the backfield of Fango there to start hitting face a little bit there. Shock Rock's going to kill the Stormers too.
And we see the skeleton pressure coming out now. And even the ghost turrets aren't going to do much. The spirit vessels are going to buff up the skeleton at Vango's face, and the other Undying is going to die. But so what? It's going to rest when the ghost turret is dead. One of the things that's really cool for Ramidi here is that Mortar himself is just handling the crossbow builds, so he doesn't need to worry about that.
Right.
He's really respecting those crossbow guilds, jumping on them with Setsu, now picking Mortar that counters it pretty heavily.
Yeah, and now that we have 2 tombstones, the undead army is just going to be pretty much endless now.
If that Undying dies, it's really good.
There's 2 more Undyings. Oh, the sniper didn't quite get off his shot in time to kill off that warrior.
Yeah. Ramidi is still behind in XP though. I mean, it's skeleton pressure, but with the crossbow guild, the skeleton pressure never really gets that far. So I think he has an issue in that he doesn't have a win condition in his deck other than keeping the pressure up. And if we're not really seeing that, I don't know if he can actually win.
So what you're saying is, instead of bringing Sniper, he should have brought my double bounty Mordor to this tournament?
For the Mana Frenzy win condition?
Oh my god,
yeah,
it was...
that would have been amazing. Yeah, I would have liked to see... I think probably the Spirit Vessel out, actually. While I like the idea, I think his deck, either the Sniper Squad or the Spirit Vessel, is hampering him. It could have been a better card. But I mean, we haven't seen the end of it, so let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Well, I'll tell you what. I always underestimate the power of Spirit Vessels with Mordor. Like, that extra 100 health just flying around and constantly getting rezzed is just... It just catches you by surprise, you know? Makes it hard to answer.
Yeah, I mean, we see
the answer? I don't know.
That sniper stayed alive for a long time with the Spirit Vessel buff, and it wouldn't have otherwise.
Right.
But he's still on the back foot because the snipers are kind of slow.
And I kind of understand the reason why he went with Sniper. You know, it's a way to overcome Stormbringer's range, because even with marksmanship, the snipers can still shoot from beyond the range. But I don't think it's having the impact that he wants here.
No, mostly for me, it's also that if that's what you're going for with the Sniper Squad, you actually don't need that in this deck. You have Mortar. He's gonna kill Blast Marines, kill crossbow dudes, so you don't need to fight the marksmanship. You need to win the game. And again, I think that's what he's missing.
Yeah, and we're starting to look towards Mana Frenzy here. Bango's only about 30 EXP away, while Ramidi's 60 out from it still. And although he has access to Frenzy now, it's not the biggest impact in this matchup. Not unless it lands on one of these snipers.
Getting a rest sniper would be great, but again, you were mentioning that getting the Spirit Vessel's rest and keeping that 100 health coming. The Spirit Vessel with Frenzy, that doesn't really have the impact you want, because it's not an impactful minion.
Right. It's not that he's impactful, it's what he's buffing that's impactful.
Yeah. But now he's stacking up the snipers, and the snipers are just out of range of the ghost turret, which would have otherwise shot across the gap.
Right.
Taking out
and
the cleaver.
He's got to be looking to play a third sniper here real soon. We're going to see Daggerfall try and drop him a little bit lower here.
But with the spirit buff, they just don't die.
And this is that kind of pressure that he's been looking for the whole game. He's finally finding it. He now has access to the bridges. With Vango just 3 XP away from Frenzy.
And 2 new Frenzy snipers.
Yep.
This is going to be good.
Now, these things are actually going to start tearing apart the group as long as they can find a tank. Which neither of them did, unfortunately.
Yeah, but Vango has man Frenzy now.
So he can definitely apply a lot of pressure here, especially if he can maintain the bridge. But he really needs to end it before Remedy finds his own Frenzy, because those snipers, as we saw, brought so much pressure to the field.
And I mean, I was talking so much about how Remedy condition, and Vango, his win condition is pressure with ranged units, but against Mortar, that isn't going to have an impact. So what he really only has is the Cleaver and the Warrior, and Remedy has been really good at answering those. Despite being like sniper based.
2 more frenzied snipers. Firing what, 100 damage every 3 seconds?
Yeah.
33 DPS, it's not that much, but it's a big burst that just keeps one-shotting all the units.
And when they stay behind like that, completely out of danger, if you can keep the enemy out of the way, stem the tide, so to speak, which is Mortar is doing, because the constant pressure that Vango is putting out is actually keeping Mortar running his attack. If Vango stopped the push to reset Mortar, he might actually have a chance to get them there. But as it stands, everything's just gonna die.
Look, I mean, you can see them. They're barely getting within range of Mordar before they just drop over dead. Mordar finally resets now. And this could be the opening Vango needs, but Remedy's only 40 XP away from Mana Frenzy now, as he gets 2 Frenzied Undyings to respawn.
And with the Undyings, he gets the time for Mortar to start ramping up again. And now there's
the Mana Frenzy.
Wow. So now he wants to push back, because he just got a little bit extra mana income, while Vango has had all the mana income for the whole match. And Remedy just got the boost that might actually give him a comeback.
Yeah, now you have all these Undyings that have been used for defense, that have been rezzing up. They're rezzing yet. Pressure he needs to temporarily.
And I think that Dip is having some technical issues, but I'll take over and say that he just managed to contest the bridges. And while Vango is still getting the mana now, Remedy has the potential to do this. With the constant mortar attack going, he just needs to answer the cleaver. In this case also the defensive chopper, but that isn't really much of a threat. As long as he can keep contesting the bridges, he's going to keep getting that extra mana income. Or at least taking it away from Vango, which brings him back in the game.
And as you can see now, we have 4 potential skeletons on the board right now. And all this pressure, all those crossbow guilds that were up before, they're now down. Vango's only got 1 up right now.
That's a really big chance for Remedy in this situation. There's still a ton of stuff on the board. Yeah, he's using the fireballs to take down the crossbow guilds to lessen the pressure. While I would probably go for the minions. I mean, again, Mortar can handle the minions. So what you need is you want to take the bridges. So it might be a really, really good call to use the fireball like that.
I think what he wants is he wants his snipers to answer the minions, allowing them to stay on the field for that much longer. And it's just allowing him to find the window that he needs for when all his Undying start respawning to start playing more stuff and allow him to push across the bridge. And we see this fight slowly moving away from Remedy's face and further towards these bridges.
Yeah, and he just used the fireball against the minions to win the battle at the bottom. And I think this is going to give him the bottom bridge, with Vango being unable to contest it, besides a ghost turret, which doesn't help the mana force.
And this is 4 snipers that are up.
Yeah,
he threw a daggerfall to try and answer them, but all those spirits from all those vessels, they're still maintaining the health of the snipers. These snipers at bottom, they keep getting daggerfall, but they also keep getting spirits, and they keep surviving. And now the bridges are Remedy's.
Yeah, at this point we're seeing that Remedy could handle Vango with full mana income, and now he's got the bridges. So there's At this point, there's probably no doubt what happens.
Yep, fireball to
There's
the
the
face.
fireball.
And that's going to be Remedi taking it all.
What a comeback! I mean,
You doubted the snipers.
yeah. So I berated the snipers, but they did prove to be really, really impactful.
Yeah, that's what I've seen too. Is like I made the joke earlier about my double bounty Mordor deck, and it is that effective. You know, just the snipers constantly rezzing, constantly hitting the enemy. It just adds up over time. And
I think this also comes from an interesting part of the meta, which is that a lot of people are playing Daggerfall because Daggerfall is really impactful right now, and that means Fireball isn't quite as popular. So one sniper, which usually is killed by Daggerfall, getting the Spirit Vessel buff is suddenly so impactful because Vanko has no chance of answering it. He needs to push through, which when there's 4 snipers is practically impossible.
right, and he doesn't. His only real tanky unit was the Defenso and the Cleaver, and they just couldn't get across the bridge. I mean, the Defenso doesn't do enough damage to really really be a threat, and then the Cleaver he just keeps getting hung up on all kinds of. Although they're single units, there are just so many of them.
Yeah, I mean the Cleaver was really good here. Still, it killed the Undyings and the Spirit Vessels without them getting too far. But the Defenso Chopper definitely was dead weight. You don't need the Defenso to answer the Spirit Vessel and the Undyings. It is probably there to answer Dragon's Nest. But the 5 mana isn't worth it in this matchup. So, yeah, really interesting game.
That's going to bring us to the finals of Group B, which is Boxes and Jake for our first match.
Yeah, at 53.
Yes.
I'm ready.
In 3, 2, 1, here we go.
It's amazing how a 12-minute match can make you so excited, right? It's supposed to be long and arduous, but quite the opposite.
Yeah, there was plenty to comment on. Unlike some of these fights that they're just complete zergs of 1 to 3 mana minions on the bridges, and you don't really see it go anywhere. It's just like, oh, he played Scrap Pack. Oh, he played Illusory. It's like, okay.
I know he plays Scrap Pack. So this is the Raging Reinforcements Dragon's Nest I'm getting.
Yeah, probably.
Answering the Raised Warrior with a Warrior. And a Cleaver.
Yeah, the Cleaver will clean that up, no problem.
But
now we have the
push
double
is going
nest
to die.
out. There's a blind date. It's going to give him a Scott. Scott will cry for a little bit.
He's going to cry. And he's going to die.
Well, he got to stand up this time. You don't get to see that out of Scott that much.
Yeah, so with the guild, I'm actually not sure how the guild performs against Dragon's Nest.
It's sort of a soft counter, but with Setsu being able to just jump on it.
That was pretty effective damage for 2 mana.
Yeah, that was most of the guild's health.
And again, some boxes is playing. Wow, I mean he gets the dragons, but it's still that's an aggressive move.
Yeah, especially with all the dragons having gone bottom there. These dragons aren't going to make it to face. So
no. One of the strengths of what some boxes is playing is that it's so ranged. Like as opposed to Dragon's Nest against some Volko or something else where you have a ton of melee units, there's so much ranged here. And it also cycles pretty effectively. With Stormbringers added global range constantly on top, the dragons can't really get to face unless it's a massive push. Oh wow. The Gax.
The Gax. Good. Oh, Cleaver is going to answer Setsu at the same time Gax is going to go off, and that's pretty much the death of that crossbow guild. Illusori's going to buy the time against that cleaver for the dragons to kill it. It's going to be another Rampaged Whelp coming down as Rampaged Warrior walks in front of them all.
This is a good push,
Defenso's
but...
ready down.
Yeah.
That'll clean up the entire push, no problem. And now we wait for the next rotation of nests. Oh, nope, there it is. Got a Scott.
This Scott might actually work because not Vango, some boxes doesn't have the cleaver yet.
But he does have a
And
ghost
he does
turret.
have and he does have the ghost turret. Scott isn't a great offensive card, if people are wondering, because once he takes a little bit of damage, he sits down and cries. But he's really effective defensively. The problem is that getting him out of a blind date usually means you're not playing him defensively, or at least not for a specific situation. So it's really hard to make him
that gets
work.
the face and the cleaver.
That's pretty good. It it lowers the bar for the Dragon Nest push to end the game in one push.
But now the Crossbow Guild doesn't have an answer. As we already saw Setsu go in before for the ghost turret.
Yeah, so he needs to cycle.
And there's no answer
the
for this
defensive job. Fireball is okay. But still, yeah.
Throwing all his spells
Dragon
to try and ease up this Crossbow Guild. But everything's coming in. Warrior's going to tank up for this whole push now. And I'd say Jake's in a little bit of trouble here.
Mm-hmm. Especially because the Daggerfall takes the dragons down to 20 health, which means they're no threat to the Pass Marines, even when they're alone.
And now Jake managed to get a living statue out of the blind date, but it's not going to get anywhere thanks to that cleaver.
Mm-hmm.
There's all the spells again. Trying to spawn dragons out real quick to try and answer that cleaver. He'll get the answer, but that leaves Jake defenseless. Another blind date, it's going to give him a succubus, but Stormbringer is just going to answer that himself.
Yeah, he doesn't even need to play a card.
Oh,
so usually the Stormbringer...
might need to now. That's easier.
Oh, really great beam here.
Yeah, that's going to bring boxes pretty low.
Wow, great push. And even while he's setting up the Dragon Nests, that push was going.
And that actually evened up the match for the most part.
Mm-hmm. They're a pretty even XP as well, going back and forth. But the big difference is that while some boxes has the potential to build a huge push, Romidi can just jump on it with a beam. And
oh my god!
Oh, does he have a Daggerfall or anything? Does he?
Oh my god, the beam came out just a moment too soon to fire off a second shot from piercing. Oh god, that had to hurt.
But some boxes also did really well with the precise cleaver timing. Like, Setsu got one shot off and then died. And also the good cleaver placement. If he had placed the cleaver wrongly, it would have been stunned. And then there would have been no doubt that that Setsu would have taken him out. I just realized that I misspoke. It wasn't Romidi, it was Jake, of course.
Romidi's not even in this game.
Wow, that was I think it was the right thing to do by Jake, going for that, because he had the potential to finish it, and I think it was a small mistake, but then again it lost him the game, so it's a major mistake to not get the second piercing shot.
It hurts. Oh boy. Well, let's see what happens in our second game. That's going to be at the 59-minute mark.
Yep. I'm ready. 3,
2, 1, here we go.
More Setsu, but this time against Apex.
Yep. We ain't gonna risk it this time. We got us a rammer.
Oh, so he's gonna be more aggressive, I think. He wants to pressure the Dragon Nest down, but he still has the defensive chopper to handle it when needed. And a black hole against the beam.
He's got all the answers this time.
It's very techy.
It looks like he was very much depending on Jake to not switch, and it's looking like Jake didn't switch.
Mm-hmm.
So this is
It's a very risky
scary.
move going this techy. But with the last stand...
Oh no, not Spirit Master!
Oh, the RNG.
And there's going to be the
so
beam that's going to answer the nest, the Spirit Mancer, and hit face there.
The
But it does
was
clean
still
up the
kept
push.
occupied. Yeah, and the cleaver didn't get to face. That would have been a major
That's
impact.
4 dragons coming in. Setsu as well.
Where's the
Defenso dropped
Defenso?
far too forward.
And far too late.
And that's going to be the
That's
stent. That's going to try and
so
clear
much
it all
damage.
up, but he took 1,700 damage, and that's going to be a beam. It's going to get the Defenso and another 400 damage on the face, and now Boxes
Wow.
is most definitely on the back of his leg here.
But he had all the tools right there. I don't know if it was a specific choice.
It's a bait.
And
He's going to play the last stand and stack it to bait out this
push.
fireball.
Great black hole. I guess that was also why he included the black hole. I thought it was against the beam of doom on the cleaver, but obviously when you're playing last stand, you kind of need it against the dragon nest deck.
And now you have all this pressure here. It's coming in. You have that almost full last stand. You have the succubus killing off the dragons. Rammer's going to take out the other nest here. Setsu's going to drop in, try and answer this push. And she's going to, but that's still a lot of damage going into Jake's face there.
Mm-hmm. Bait and switch, I guess. And he has the bridges as well. Some boxes. I'm liking that he's including a dragon whelp. Just a single normal dragon whelp.
Oh yeah.
For the sake of being airborne and taking those straggler dragons that get through or whatever.
Yeah, I find the normal dragon whelp to be a little underrated by our higher tiered players.
Yeah, it's not used very much, but I feel like it's always super powerful when I look at it. But,
And Jake's going to take both bridges here, playing right into the hands of Boxes here, looking for another last stand, but he's going to play the defense, so really far forward and take the bridge front himself.
yeah, but I think that's because when you play the defenso here, the dragon nest can't really do much. Like, there's still time left on it, but Jake can't use it for anything. He has to answer the defenso first.
Now here comes that rammer. It's going to go all the way to face. Oh, double beam goes out.
Beams
One for the rammer, one for the nest. But that leaves
is
Succubus
unanswered.
all alone here.
With Setsu not being
Raged
home,
Warrior. Not quite enough. Daggerfall will finish it though.
still, the Raged Warrior was a good outcome. The dragon would have been worse. So,
Yeah, we got the black
Yeah.
hole in time for that fireball that gets absolutely no value because there's no nest.
yeah,
And here
that's
comes
really
Cleaver.
impactful as well. I don't think he has an answer now. He has a Daggerfall.
There's both nests. He's got to find
he
something
invested
here.
nests.
There's Daggerfall. He throws down
Oh no.
his illusory, and that's not going to be enough here as Jake's going to go down. That is a 2-0 to Boxes.
Yeah, really well played by Boxes, and definitely a pretty good counter deck there. And Jake, I think he invested a little too much in the future at the end there. Playing 2 nests probably doesn't work out for you in that situation. Might be because he was still cycling, and he didn't have anything else.
Yeah, unfortunately,
But,
all his other answers were already out on the field.
Yeah.
So that's going to give us our first finalist from Group B, which is Boxes. He gets at least $25 now.
That's a good reward. And he played really well for it.
That's a lot of supplies to get.
Yeah.
So that's going to bring us to our second finals of the Group B, which is Z Grifter versus Remedi.
Mm-hmm. And I really like what Remedi was bringing before. So
Yeah, we'll see what
Let's
he
see.
gets creative with. That is the 10-minute mark.
Yep.
Oh, goody.
I'm ready.
Break for you. In 3, 2, 1, here we go.
Zigriptor on the Ravager. Like we saw before.
Razorback Ravager.
Lightning never strikes twice,
Indeed.
but I do.
And it looks like they got control out of Remedy.
Yeah, so how does control match up against this this pushy timing push style?
I feel like
Zigriptor is
we've
playing up?
basically seen it. Who is he playing against before? There's a rep. Vango. And that
Vango
was when
played,
Vango
yeah.
brought the living statue with the Repo, right?
But that's not the
That's
same
not Ravager.
style.
But the Snake Druid's probably still going to have big impact here as well.
Yeah. Although Zigriptor isn't playing, I mean, yeah, he plays the living statue, so it would be the same as last time. He's not playing the really big minions besides Brutus.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Fencer will tank Brutus all day long.
But Brutus would, yeah, okay, that doesn't matter with the shock rock anyway.
Oh no, Snake Druid holding out the living statue just out of range of Ghost Turret.
Yeah, and then the Snake Druid dies, and
Yeah,
Ghost
dies the
Turret will back
Daggerfall.
that. Now he has to enter the living statue because Stormbringer isn't going to handle that himself.
Oh no. And even with Plasma Marines, it's still going to take a long time to drop it. Xiao Long's not going to speed it up by that much more, but nope.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Yeah,
hoping
so
for one more hit.
Zigriptor aggressively takes pole position here. A lot more XP and taking down a third of Remedi's health.
You see the Brutus actually creating a bit of impact in that match there, since not everything can be reserved for that living statue, and this time the living statue is going to have Frenzy by the time it gets to the face.
Yeah, so he has to stop it with the Snake Druid this time.
Oh,
Great Daggerfall.
I
Really
don't
well played.
know. It's great for that, but now he doesn't have it for this Snake Druid. And the
It's
Shock
true.
Rock's going to go to the Ghost Turret.
Yeah, it might have been a little early. I feel like it was great placement.
It got the answer he wanted, but then he didn't have anything left over for that Snake Druid.
Both of them playing Xiaolong.
And
I don't think Remedy included Xiaolong earlier when he played Stormbringer. And I don't know why he would include it now. Yes, he did play it earlier because Radbo was severely limited with the Daka. Yeah. So it's just a standard inclusion. Okay.
yeah.
Shockrock. That's the way you want to respond to the Reboomer, I guess, because then
Yeah.
you have the Daggerfall left over.
Yeah, that's the way I want to see it played. Is Shock Rock goes to the Reboomer, and Daggerfall is reserved for that Snake Druid right there. That is
Which is
played just
misplaced.
outside of range. Oh boy.
But then again, like, one thing Remedy can do is he can sort of wait with playing the Snake Druid, which means the Griptor has to maintain the mana for Daggerfall, and then the Ghost Turret will still do a ton of damage to the living statue.
Especially with the marksmanship range.
Yeah. So he can almost enter it without the Snake Druid.
Yeah, actually, I think Ghost Turret does just straight up answer it, doesn't it?
With the Frenzy as well?
Yeah, that's where the problem will come from, is that Frenzy.
Yeah, I don't know exactly this interaction. It's a little too complex. But the Griptor is gonna hit perk 3 in a moment. He's still ahead.
Gets the Reboomer up. And he's got the support of the Plasma Marines. Unfortunately, there's a Frenzied Plasma Marine.
He's just...
I tell you what, that's a scary thing. A Frenzied oh, Lightning Bolting the Snake Druid.
Wow.
He really doesn't want that on the field.
It's, well, when he just used the Daggerfall, so it's actually the priority minion for him.
And I don't blame him. In this matchup, that Snake Druid is going to be what would win this match. But this is a Frenzied statue getting all the way to the face here. That's going to... Oh, yeah, with the
hit.
Daggerfall, that's going to
Another
clear
hit.
up all his defense, and that's going to end it.
Wow. So that's the scary push, right? So you get the living statue, and then Terror Brutus comes up behind and distracts the defensive chopper and whatever else is there. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff there, it's just not enough when a Daggerfall can clear it all.
Yeah.
So that'll bring us to game 2, which is at the 16-minute mark, and we'll see if Remedy has a bit of a better answer this time.
Yeah, I'm ready.
In 3, 2, 1, here we go.
Tetsu.
Yeah. I guess it's
sticking.
the Call to Arms one that we saw.
Oh, the weird one. Well, let's give it another chance. Let's see what he's got.
Yeah. Maybe this time it will find the pressure that he's looking for, especially since the wall and Ghost Turret will still answer that living statue, and wall's a bit harder to answer than a Snake Druid is.
Yeah. Zygripta isn't... He's playing a beam, but that isn't even enough. Unless Remedy misplaces the wall and turret too close together. Then he can beam both, and the living statue will be good, but if he doesn't, then he has no answer. And Brutus isn't going to help. He's just going to be chopping at that wall for 2 minutes, doing nothing.
But with a Xiaolong on the field, if he opts to Call to Arms or Blast Entry like that...
It just kills the Xiaolong.
Yeah, he wants that Xiaolong, or the Xiaolong there, yeah. You're going to use the Propeller Scratch to try and chip away at this living statue while Setsu takes off the rest of the push. Brutus is going to start coming in from behind here, and now we have a fairly tanky push coming into the side of Setsu here. And
great defense, so I was just thinking he should do that.
Yeah, that'll answer all that. The Ghost Turret is actually going to clean up the living statue with the help of that wall there without Setsu taking any damage. And there's going to be the Call to Arms.
Getting both buildings, that's fantastic. And Brutus still hitting that defensive drop.
Unfortunately, he did take 250 damage there from the Xiaolong feedback. So, that warrior didn't manage to bring down Brutus. So he gets to eat one more shot there, allowing this Plasma Marine and Xiaolong to do their thing. And they're actually going to get quite a bit of damage in, since that took them a grand total of 9 seconds to clear it up.
But I feel like Remedi's actually okay with taking damage. While he's against a really scary deck that can push him down from 2000 in one push if he's not careful, he needs to maintain the pressure on Zygripta. He needs to take control of the board, because if he allows everything to build up massively, it's even scarier than the 2000 damage push. It's a 3000 damage push.
And we just saw the defensive chopper there get answered by the lightning bolt. Remedy not really sure what to do with his deck here. And
yeah, it feels a little awkward.
Yeah, and he needs that Ghost Turret to really do some serious damage to this living statue. And it's not going to be in range here, and that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, but with the Swarmers and Setsu and no backup for the living statue, it's okay. He is losing bottom though, because he invested so much mana without being really effective.
Yeah, that living statue finally goes down. Fireball will take care of Drone Walker and Xiaolong there. But now the next push is just starting right back up. The good news is Scrat Horde will get a bit of damage in, but Plasma Marines will clean up the Scrat Horde.
I think he needs the Ghost Turret to enter early.
Setsu there going to use the Blast Entry just to change where she is on the field. Beam going to hit the Ghost Turret and the face here, going to buy quite a bit of time, but this Frenzied Statue is going to absolutely murder this wall. Oh, that Call to Arms just in time. That'll clear up. That'll finally clear up that living statue.
But Setsu herself can actually push Zygripta, because with the Ravager range, the only things answered is Plasma Marines and Xiaolong, which kind of weak.
And now we have Setsu. She's going to fall off. Oh, no, she's not. She's going to barely stay in range of this living statue here. Fireball's going to reset the high-powered laser, clearing up the scrap, while the Fireball actually takes care of the Drone Walker. And now we have the Call to Arms, bringing in 2 warriors here. That'll finally force Setsu to go home, where she's going to take a beam, and that's going to put a timer on the match here.
But Zigrypta just spent
going
6
for it.
mana.
She wants this win now. There's the high-powered laser to take care of Xiao Long. Here comes the rest of the damage. It's going face. Fireball going to clear up the Drone Walker as she gets another high-powered laser. Another high-powered laser comes in thanks to that. And that's going to be the game going to Setsu.
Yeah. So he actually used Call to Arms at the end there to just reset the laser.
Yeah.
It's just as good as a shock rock or anything else.
Right. And that will give him that game just in time before the next beam was going to come out. And that's going to take us into our game 3 of our final match. 21-minute mark in 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
And
now he's bringing the Mordor.
So Remediate really playing a lot of different decks, and that's what you mentioned meeting him at ladder as well.
He's got all the stuff in the world. Ooh, his scrap hat is actually going to win the bridge.
It's just faster. Yeah, if you see the opponent playing a scrap pack, you can't play yours. You'll be too late. Same thing with Plasma Marines. If they meet on the bridge, the one who played it first will be the winner. I think a lot of people say that you shouldn't play minions at the beginning to take the bridges, but I think in some situations it actually makes a lot of sense.
I love doing it because people nowadays will almost always wait for 10 mana regardless of what you do. And when you get an extra 15 seconds with the bridges over them, that makes a big deal of difference.
Yeah, agreed. That's why I put Scrap Pack in my Mortar deck. And Remedia's done that too. He's playing that sniper style deck we saw before.
Yep.
Which really liked going late.
Yep, we're going to see the Fireball clean up the Drone Walker yet again. As the Sniper's going to take care of the Xiaolong. Yep.
That's a really good way to he's not picking a counter deck, he's picking another deck he already had that just works really well against Zigrypta's makeup.
Yep. Scrap packs are going to kill each other on the bridge there, and it'll require that Zigrypta play his Elite Swarmer just to take the bridge. Now you have
he's got the Ghost Turret. Did he have the Ghost Turret before? Yes, he did. Actually. Yeah. So he's got everything he needs to answer that living statue.
Yep.
And the Xiaolong pressure, which is the heart of what Zigrypta is doing.
And now we have the Fireball coming in. It's going to answer Drone Walker and Plasma Marines for absolutely amazing value here. And even though the Xiaolong is always just a moment too late.
Yeah. But Remediate doesn't care about health here. He's going to put pressure on Zigrypta. Zigrypta is losing health faster than him. So he could take the Xiaolong damage. No deal with that.
Zigrypta will have access to his Frenzy, while at the same time, Remediate will have access to his second Tombstone.
Yeah, and double Tombstone is going to make those Spirit Infusions that much more impactful. Well, Zigrypta isn't playing a lot of spells, so the Xiaolong isn't going to have that much impact. It's a flying, ranged minion, which is really hard for Ravager to deal with.
Yep, it'll sit right outside his range.
Yeah, and Zigrypta then has to play the Plasma Marines or his own Xiaolong to answer that, which isn't the place he wants to place them, especially if a living statue is already moving forwards on the map.
Now we have a Spirit Vessel and a Tombstone going down at the same time here. Oh, he's going to eat feedback damage just to make a Drone Walker stop a little bit. See the Shock Rock come in just a tiny fraction of a second. Too late to stop the Tombstone from rezzing a Spirit Vessel there, but Living Statue finally finds its way to face.
But look at that skeleton army.
1, 2,
and when those
3
skeletons die, they're going to buff everything else.
Yep, and you have another Undying rezzing at the face.
and Zigurto drops below 1000 health, this is the danger area, because he wants to build up big pushes that end the game. But if he invests a lot of mana in one push, he risks Ramili pushing the other lane.
Yep.
Or just fireballing him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's got Fireball and Shock Rock together. That's 190 damage, and you have all these Undying Skeletons that are going to keep rezzing directly on the face, pumping out their 50 damage hits, and now he's down to 80 health.
That's
Xiao Long is still pecking away. Shock Rock will finish the game out. That gives us our second finalist.
Ramili, really showing a variety of decks and playing them really, really well.
He brought 3 decks. He's going to show us all 3 of them, and he's going to be very proud of it.
Yeah. Okay.
And that
I really love those matches. I think it was very varied. And actually, looking back at it, we saw 0 Volco players, because people have been telling me that it was going to be Volco control. All over the place, and here we're seeing such a variety of strategies. We did see a lot of Volco in Group A, and I'm excited to see in the finals what happens when these guys meet up with Shady Hobos and the others.
Right. I mean, we always have people that predict what's going to go down in these tournaments, and so far they have been wrong almost every single time. And the reason for that is, if something is known to be coming to the tournament, people are going to prepare decks to beat that, and that makes it not worthwhile to play generally.
Yeah, or people are just going to train against it so they know what they can do. Bringing something completely unexpected to the table is more impactful because it throws people off their balance. And then Ramili brings this Sniper Spirit Vessel Mortar deck that no one has any idea how fits into the meta, and they have to spend a game learning how to play against it. Then he switches to something else. So, or actually, he usually used it as the last one.
Yeah, he uses it as his last resort there, but.
But yeah, it's really interesting.
Yeah, and you know, you can expect a deck like that to also beat nest decks. Like, snipers are great counter to whelps.
Yeah, I think that works really well. He brought some interesting meta counters. Without being hard counter decks like some of the other things we saw.
Yeah.
So
it's one of these reasons that I like the older players. They know how to build versatile decks. So that'll wrap us up for Group B. Any final words for our audience?
No, I think I spread my excitement enough. Although I want to thank you for bringing me in, and I think the Masters Challenge is really cool so far, and I like that people are joining in, so many on the stream. So I'm just excited to see what happens in the next groups, and I'll definitely keep watching the rest of the night.
Sounds good. So we'll be coming back at the top of the hour. I'll have me another guest, and we'll see you guys then.
Yeah, see you guys.